Hello everyone, today I'll be talking about Mac and specifically why you would want a Mac on your team. The thing she does so well is use Polarize non-stop to buff your team with shields and also buff your damage. As you can tell, the damage multiplier is pretty good. She can spam this every 4 seconds, and thanks to an augment to this ability, she can also jam the guns for your opponents, which is pretty fucking phenomenal. Her 2 is basically fuck this Nox in particular. You can do this pretty much on any enemy and decide that enemy no longer exists. Her 4 is the equivalent of Sarin's 4 when you think about it, because it basically rips away enemy defenses and softens them up, makes them easier to kill, and your combo, so to speak, is basically spamming Polarize every chance you get and using either Magnetize or Crush to get the job done. So why would you want a Mac on your team? Imagine your team has Sarin and Vote already. You don't need another damage dealer, they're going to take care of that part. All you realistically need is a bit of CC, and any damage buff is welcome. So exactly what Mac does. She can take care of nullifiers with her guns and also go into the nullifier bubbles because she doesn't give a fuck. Also, she can give Sarin and Vote defenses using her 3, magnifying their shields, so to speak. And she can also CC non-stop with her 3 jam guns, while Vote can't really spam his 4 more than once every 11 or so seconds. So Mac is your CC helper, damage buff helper. She's pretty fun to play and actually contributes a lot to a team. That's why you would want to play her as a support. Now, I know I mentioned she was a support, but my build is pretty offensive oriented. I'm going to do my best to do melee damage and also use my Super Vandal. Going into max mods themselves, I need to make a few upgrades still. I only have one Forma into my Mac Prime. I've doubled her, of course. This Steel Charge Aura has to go. This has to be Corrosive Projection, so I'll need to reset a few times. My continuity isn't primed yet. Obviously, also I'm being a bit cheeky with the Umbro Intensify and Vitality. Honestly, the Vitality seems optional. If you can avoid toxic bubbles, you'll be fine without a Vitality, but I think this is a cute thing you can do, and I haven't even maxed these mods. Now, moving into the mods that actually matter, you're definitely going to need at least one Streamline. I think this is fine if you use an energy weapon. Overextended and Stretch are phenomenal, you can't not use them. Counter Pulse is pretty fun for your 3, I would say run it. It's not as effective as Misa, it's not effective as Woki. Melee units don't give a fuck about this, but it's still pretty good. You spam your 3 all the time, anything that augments it is awesome. Finally, I think the Power Drift is pretty fucking useless, especially if you're going to play an Atarax. This 30% chance to resist knockdown doesn't exist because the Atarax gives you a 100% chance to not get knocked down. I think this is very optional, I just like a bit more strength to buff my teammates. Now, the main weapon I'll be using is the Super Vandal. My Super Vandal is just the fuck up, but the important part is the Entropy Burst. This is what gives you energy, and Super Vandal is going to be my main weapon, the one I'm holding, for those long range duels, and also giving me energy while I spin around with the Atarax. My current build is status focused with corrosive and a bit of heat damage. I'm using these 3 mods, as well as Riven I like because it gives me multi-shot and removes the weapon recoil. Super Vandal has a pretty shitty recoil. As always, the Atarax is going to be my main weapon when I'm playing a support, because it gives you a great amount of damage considering that's not what you're supposed to be doing. And I think this is probably the best weapon in the game, especially for Elite Onslaught, because it fucks with everything around level 8 without any adjustments. You can run this literally on Trinity and still do phenomenal. Without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. So here we go. This is a cute trick I like to do, give yourself some energy. As you can tell in the top right, Energizing Dash is already going. So I don't need to do it as soon as I enter the game. I think I just lost 40-60 frames as people went into the game. And I have no energy. That's interesting. So, I think probably some of these enemies drink energy, which is amazing. We have a Sarin, 2 Sarins actually, so the game is pretty much over. We can make it to map 8, provided they don't quit. What you're seeing cover the entire map is my tree. It's basically going to buff our shields and also buff our damage. I'm going to use my 4 now for a bit of CC. I have no energy for some fucking reason. Let's go. I need my Super Vandal to proc. I think this is a bit unfortunate because the spawns fucked me a bit, but okay, my energy is building back up. As you can tell, if you're not going to run a Super Vandal or another energy weapon like the Sinoid Gamma Core, you might actually want to run a second efficiency mod, because max energy pool is pretty low. You might want to run a flow, whatever floats your boat pretty much. I like using energy weapons, so I don't have to invest into those kind of mods. Right now it really looks like standard Atarax face roll, and it is. Like, not much you can say on the first map. All you have to do is roll around with the Atarax and you win. It doesn't matter what unit you pick, what warframe. As you can tell, 60%, the Sarins aren't doing much yet because they scale later in the game. The Atarax is pretty much enough to give me the lead, playing the support of course. Now I have a bit more energy built up, and as you can tell, as soon as I use my tree and there are enemy units inside, their guns jam and they can't fire at my teammates. Also, if you look at the top right, you can tell our purple shields, so I'm already feeding my entire team with bonus shields, meaning it's very unlikely people are going to die, as long as they have at least one vitality mod, because you never know what can skip your shields. So it's always good to have the vitality mod. You don't want to die to toxic and force your teammates to actually stop playing the game to revive you. Your 4 is literally used whenever the fuck you feel like it. You don't even need it, though that's your hard CC, which also stuns you unfortunately. This week's Porto is pretty funny, the way you can get into it from the top. So, this is the one I wanted to show you. Here comes the Nox and here goes the Nox. Max 2 basically says fuck this unit in particular and he's gone. And here comes another one, once again in seconds, immediately deleted. If you can't fuck with Nox when you face Grineer, Mac is the unit for you. She absolutely murders them, it's not even close. You lock them inside your bubble and then you just blow them up. So unbelievably good. And thanks to the fact I don't have a lot of duration, my bubble goes away. The reason you want it to go away instead of staying longer is because your teammates, I don't believe, can shoot through it, and you might not even be able to shoot through it. So you want that shit to go away as fast as possible. You only need 4 seconds on your tree for it to last the full duration of the gun jamming sequence. So that's about it. I think there have been 3 Noxes so far. That's so many. Like, unbelievably many Noxes, but as you can tell, we don't give a fuck as a team because I am eliminating them immediately. Like, they can't even get any damage off on my team. And if we look, I still have 60%, in spite of the fact we have 2 Sarins, and Sarin is the best warframe DPS in Elite Onslaught, so their builds might be a bit off. If you're interested in a Sarin build, you can find one on my channel. I actually made a top 3 DPS video, so these guys might want to take a look, considering they're losing to a Mac Atarax. So, my voice is dying a bit, don't you love that? Drinking energy drinks all day doesn't do wonders for your voice. As you can tell, things are going pretty easily because we have 2 Sarins, meaning the entire map is being hit with corrosive. The entire map is being hit with my Mac bubble, so the enemies have literally no defense. Even if they manage somehow to avoid one of us, they can avoid both of us, all 3 of us. The Excalibur is pretty much along for the ride. There's nothing he needs to do. Basically, if he doesn't die, he'll do us all a favor, so we don't have to stop to revive him. This is the only part about Mac I hate. you have to actually stun yourself when you're casting your 4. I really hate that. It's so annoying. Any ability that removes your mobility pretty much sucks for me. Really sorry my voice is dying. This is pretty unfortunate. An unfortunate coincidence of playing at fucking 2 AM. So, I fell off the map, but thankfully for me, Mach doesn't have any active abilities, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. I haven't even shown the Super Vandal yet. This is a pretty annoying map because they're almost invisible ice patches, so you step on something and your speed goes away. It's so annoying. And here comes the first person to leave the squad. It's Excalibur, of course, who probably doesn't feel like he's doing anything. Can't blame him, but I would still go along for the ride. You want to make it to the 8th map because you have a very low chance, but still a chance to get a very expensive item, which you can sell for about 300-400 platinum. I think it's called the Dera Vandal, maybe? Fuck it, there's also a pistol, like 2 items. So you want to stay at least 8 maps, that's how long I'm going to be staying. Now, I actually need one of the Sarins to stay with me because I might not make it otherwise, which is very fun. But as you can tell, I'm not being touched by the enemy. I'm already losing, I'm down to 50% damage because Sarins are starting to take over. It's amazing how fast they scale, they're so strong. So that ancient gave me some trouble, which is pretty funny. Corrosive isn't the best against Asians, to be fair. I'm more geared to fuck with Grineer, like the Nox you saw me destroy on the first map, or 4 to 5 Noxes. So, my HP is down, I'm going to use my hard CC, and unfortunately I'm in the zone where you get nerfed, your speed gets removed, so I want to get the fuck out. But when enemies spawn there, you have to actually kill them, you can't ignore enemies, because your efficiency goes down and then you lose. I kinda wish I had radiation on the Super Vandal, maybe if I change up my mods a bit, because if you have radiation in Vyro, you can fuck with the Ancients, but then you're weaker against Nox, so pick your poison. That's the thing about Elite Onslaught, you have to face everything, so you can't really be ready for anything. Great map, I'm falling off this map like 10 times over. So unbelievably fun. So this is the poison cloud I was talking about. This is why I want a vitality mod, because if you happen to run into one without a vitality mod, you're just going to die, which is pretty fucking shit. You don't want to die because you might lose your carrier, which fucks with your resource collection. By resource I mean energy primarily. Ammo can be important too, depending on the weapons you use, and losing the carrier is probably more important than losing a life. So you never want to go down. Funnily enough, Mach isn't good against Infested, which is hilarious, but most of them are melee and Mach is meant to deal with Corpus and Grineer. So I'm getting carried on this map. Then again though, the Atarax knows what it's doing. My energy pool is pretty high, I can use my 4. The thing about your 4 is it's also good against Grineer and Corpus, so against Infested there's really nothing I can do except spin around with my Atarax. One of the Sarins is embracing the AFK farm meme. Fair enough. Sarin is so good. I wish the game wasn't bugged, so you could actually push past map, let's say zone 12, 14, but the game literally decides you lose, regardless of the fact you can still kill everything. They should really patch Elite Onslaught. It's basically supposed to be the end game, but it really isn't. It's the zone 8 farm. Max energy pool is so low. If you guys don't like this build, I won't blame you, because it's pretty tough to manage it if you like to spam. I was playing with 2 efficiency mods earlier though, and I was always at max energy, which I think is wasteful. if you're always at max energy, are you really using that energy? So I decided I'm going to try out just one efficiency mod, and I think that's better, especially because I'm running Supra Vandal. Without it, I would say it would be better to just run both efficiency mods. But the Supra Vandal is super powerful. I'm not even using powerful mods, like I'm using a fun build, so to speak, on the Supra Vandal, and it's still doing well. To be fair, it's zone 4. I still have 39%, I'm very surprised, the Sarins are really fucking with each other. That's why they haven't surpassed me yet. Mach is truly a support Warframe. So as soon as one Sarin takes over, she's going to dominate. And this is one of the fun maps, like, you can do whatever the fuck you want on this map. It's unstoppable, efficiency wise. And what's very fun about Sarin, I know this is a Mach video, but I'm talking only about Sarin, is that her poison spreads to the top 4 on here. So all you have to do is fight on one floor. She's so good. Like, I know I'm supposed to be talking about Mach, but what is there to say? You use your 3, you use your 4 when you need to, especially, let's say, when you have to revive. Let me actually show you a cool trick. I'm going to use the Supra Vandal for the hell of it. There's the trick. So if you didn't notice, I don't have to stop shooting to use my 3. And what's also fun, let's waste all my bullets, is that I don't have to stop reloading to use my 3. So this is so fun. Unfortunately, your 3 doesn't work with a melee attack, but if you're running the Atarax spin to win, when you have to reload your Supra Vandal, you just stop spinning for a second and use your 3. So good, like, so unbelievably good. I actually gained 2%, I don't know what the Sarins are doing. The problem with Spores is that they don't overlap very well. I think in Warframe, especially Elite Onslaught, it's always better to have a mix of units. Like, I would say one Sarin and one Vote is more than enough. Because when you get more of them, timings get messed up, DPS lines get messed up, timings primarily, and efficiency. I think it should be obvious, but when you're reviving someone, always go into Tenno, because you're indestructible. But keep in mind your carrier can get killed, so keep in mind where you're going to leave your Warframe. You don't want it surrounded by enemies, because they'll kill your carrier. And it kind of loses the point of reviving someone, if you're going to lose your carrier to revive them. What's awesome about Mach is that if you need an emergency revive, all you need to do is your 4, and you have a few seconds extra. Or if someone else is doing the revive, you can just spam your 4 twice. It'll get locked up, but it's worth it for a revive without losing a carrier. So, this week's rotation is pretty funny, because now we're going to go through the portal, and when we go on the other side, it's going to be this map again, but it's the day map. So fucking funny. I don't mind it because it's my favorite map to play, it's so easy and so fun to kill so many enemies. But really, who at DE decided this was a good idea? Maybe they did it as a joke, I guess it's funny. If you made it this far into the video, I would like some props about pushing through the pain. I swear, my voice is dying on me, so I'm doing my best. I also usually don't do this type of video for Warframe, like I don't live commentate while I'm playing, because I think it can be a bit wasteful, like it's more fun to get to the point when you're explaining what a Warframe does. The live commentary right now I don't think is that helpful, because I'm just talking about Elite Onslaught, my team, not that much about Mach, because I think it's self-explanatory, especially if you watch the first part of the video, where I show the build and explain why you would use the Mach. She's so underrated for Elite Onslaught though. I know it's so easy to just pick Sarin and Vote and do all the damage, and then you're like, ooh, this is so fun. But if you actually want to push beyond Zone 8 for whatever reason, you have to build a real team. You can't go for 4 Sarins and win, or 3 Votes and a Sarin. Seems very fun in theory, but in practice pretty much sucks. Stacking more than one of the same Warframe doesn't work. So having Warframes like Misa, Mach, Even Octavia is so helpful. And the Sarin and Volt get stronger because you have a better composition, so you're helping them as well. I realize solo queuing as a Mac is not the funnest thing possible because right now we're losing damage, we have 2 Sarins. It's not a real composition, it doesn't matter that I'm helping with CC and damage amplifying when the 2 Sarins are messing with their spores. So one Sarin loses efficiency on her damage. Realistically, both of them are losing. Let's put it this way, anytime a support is top fragging, having the most damage, something is going wrong. An Atarax can't out DPS Sarin, realistically. That shouldn't happen, ever. So, I think this is the last zone. There goes my mat, it's not the last zone. Oh, but I get to show off how I can deal with nullifiers. And what's funny is Supra Van Dao is so good against nullifiers. So usually if you're playing someone like Sarin and you have a toxic wash on, you don't have to go into the bubble to kill the nullifier. But because I'm playing Mac and I give no fucks, I can go into the bubble myself and do whatever I want. So right now we're going to revive our teammate. I'm using my 4 to stun the entire map, so no one fucks with the revive or our carriers, either the down guy or the guy reviving him. Now I got my 4 banned, I think. I guess not. I'm doing everything I want, it's so fun to play with an Atarax. I know it looks stupid as fuck, but when you have a ranged weapon, a melee weapon that behaves like a ranged weapon, it's so fun. I really hate the fact they removed hitting people through walls. I don't get it. I mean, I do get it, but I don't like it. So, I forgot to use my 3, that's very bad of me because we're losing damage every time I do that. Basically every 4 seconds you can use your 3 and you don't get banned because the only ability that gets a cooldown forced on you... Oh my god! I didn't use my 3 and got punished. Wow, that sucks. I hope my team manages to revive me. I'm not using a secondary so I can't shoot. Okay, so I think I got killed for no reason. I was using my 2 and suddenly got killed because I wasn't using my 3. 4 seconds is such a low timer when you think about it. It's so much weaker than Misa's jamming of guns. And I think on this map, if someone is inside the nullifier bubble, they can still shoot me, their gun isn't jammed. So I fucked up. But my team managed to revive me without any issue. I didn't lose my carrier. So, all good. Our shields are back up. As you can tell, 1650 for me, 1500 for the other 2. We haven't really left 100% efficiency. As you can tell, 2000 kills for the Sarins because they are Sarin and I have only 1000, which is pretty respectable, I must say, competing with 2 Sarins. I didn't expect to get much more. And actually I'm going to show it again. Not all of them are melee kills, so my 4 and 3 are actually helping kill some enemies, a small percent, maybe 20-30% of the enemies, but still, it's pretty good. So this map is very dangerous, the spawns are very heavy, so if you're out of position or you're not CCing properly, you're going to get blown up in a second, but I'm going to use my 3 a lot. Sarins are really helping right now. I almost feel sorry I'm not leveling anything, because when you have Sarin on the team you can get 0 to 30 immediately on multiple weapons. Here comes my stun. I can't believe I'm going to win the damage contest. The game is warning me, I've been playing for over an hour. Water is also wet. Did you guys see the article that basically tried to say if you play 20 hours a week you have gaming addiction or some sort of random bullshit? I think it was the BBC. Bullshit entertainment. 20 hours. I've known days in my past where I've played 20 hours. Days, not weeks. What a ridiculous statement to make. People work weekly for more than 20 hours. Are they addicted to work? The game is so simple when you have CC. I know I got downed once, but that was just once, like anyone can make a mistake. I'm also talking right now multitasking, so it's not like I'm 100% focused on the game and still I can do whatever I want. The Atarax in combination with my abilities makes me invincible. The best way to not die in this game is to move, and when you're moving and also killing things, I think that's a pretty good combination. So this was a dangerous spawn, but I jammed the guns, I stunned them, nothing they can do. I think I should lose by the end. No, I'm still keeping the 41%. Well, I guess I just out DPS 2 Sarins with the support hero. That's pretty funny. But if it was just one Sarin I would lose. I know that sounds so stupid, but it's actually true. Since no one would fuck with her spores, their spores aren't doing enough damage, either of them. Not spreading enough also. So that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed this run. Pretty decent rewards, I always like relics. 41%, pretty fucking decent. They have 5,000 kills and I have 1,000. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I can't believe I did so well. I'm still getting the hang of Mac. It's not one of my most played Warframes. I only recently realized how good she can be, especially for Elite Onslaught. So, as you can tell, most of my kills were the Atarax, but the Supra Vandal and my abilities contributed a little bit. It's a pretty fun Warframe to play. I definitely recommend it if you're going to team up with people who are already using Sarin and Vote. You never want to have too many of the same Warframe, and Mac is just a great addition to any Elite Onslaught team. Thanks as always for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stick around if you want to watch more Warframe, follow this channel, and I'll see you on the next video, whenever the fuck that is. Bye. Please make it stop. This fucking bug.